Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If I look a little haggard, I am sick. So I don't feel great, but this is like the first day where I kind of have my voice back, and it's freaking January 2nd and I had so many videos planned, like wrapping up last year's reading, you know, and so we're gonna get to those eventually, but I just wanted to sit down and film a video I've been wanting to film because I think it's like good for the times, right? So here are 7 books that I think you need to read if you're feeling after a holiday depression, right? Like it hits all of us. I know that I get really sad after the holidays and like you go back to normal life, and I'm sorry if your birthday's in January, but I think it's like the most depressing month, and I think reading a nice happy book can really, you know, turn things around. So I have 7 books here that I wanted to chat about that are just, oh, they're just good for the soul, you know? They're just heartwarming, cute reads. Of course, there's some sadness in them because I love sad books. Like if a book makes me cry, then up to the top shelf it goes. So I'm gonna start with the book that really started this idea. I read this in October and I've never cried so hard over a book. It is such a cute but like important and just a really like well-rounded book. It's The 100 Years of Lenny and Margot by Marianne Cronin. So I'd never heard of this, but I decided to pick it up and oh my god, it was so good. So we follow Lenny and Margot, obviously. We meet in a hospital setting. Lenny is a teenager and she has this horrible disease. I don't think we know like exactly what it is, but it's definitely like killing her. And then Margot is, I don't know how old she is, maybe in her 80s, because together they're 100 years old. Lenny is, you know, just mad that she's in this state, like mad that she has this illness and she has to live in this hospital. She doesn't really have support from her family, and so she's kind of lonely. And one day in this art class, she meets Margot, who is just the cutest old lady I've ever seen. And together they have this friendship, and so you know it's gonna be friggin' sad because one of them's gonna die, all right? I'm not gonna like, obviously, but just, oh my gosh, following these like 2 incredible characters, like my heartstrings were ripped apart, basically. But there's so many good life lessons in here. We take a look back at like Margot's long life and like her husband, and oh my god, when I'm editing this I'm gonna hate what I sound like, but I wanted to film this because I know January is so depressing. Honestly, this book is kind of depressing. I just connected so much to these characters and I will recommend this book till the day I die. But if like a hospital setting doesn't sound very happy to you, I totally get it and save it maybe for another time. But this is like the cutest book I've ever read. So moving on, I wanted to talk a little bit more about old people. I wanted to talk more about old people because books about old people just really get me. I read this years ago. This is The Secret Diary of Kendrick, 83 1/4 years old. This book makes me smile so big. It's exactly what it says. It's like diary entries from this 83-year-old man in a nursing home, and he just wreaks havoc on everyone. We see his friendships, we see the loss of his wife, we see just the shenanigans he gets into, and he kind of feels young again because of like a person he meets in the nursing home. And I think this is one of the most wholesome books I've ever read. I also like don't hear anyone talk about it. It's so cute. You like fly through it because it's that good. Of course, like it's in a nursing home, so it's really sad. But to me, like sad books that have good life lessons in them and like have sweet moments are like really wholesome to me. How many times am I gonna say wholesome in this video? But again, a sad setting with a nursing home. We will get to happier settings in a moment, but wow, I love this book. So last one, kind of dealing with an old person, is The Red Leather Diary, Reclaiming a Life Through the Pages of a Lost Journal by Lily Koppel. I've heard no one talk about this book. I don't know why I picked it up. but this is like a true story. Like Lily Koppel actually found this diary in New York, and we follow Florence Wolfson, who is the owner of this diary, and she eventually tracks her down, and in it is like Florence's life, living through like the 1920s and from like a wealthy family in New York. I was so surprised by this book. There's so much adventure, and there's like photos included of Florence, and she like returns the diary to Florence, and then we see Florence kind of in modern day, and it's just a really wholesome book. And oh my god, I'm gonna stop saying wholesome. It's really just, oh my god, what else can I say? It's like a heartwarming novel. I think more people need to read it and talk about it, because I loved it. I really need to reread it because it's been a really long time, but I think Lily Koppel did such a good job. She was like a struggling author, and then like to come upon this diary, you gotta be kidding me. So one romance I want to talk about, Love and Gelato. Oh my god. I could sit here and name like a lot of romances that warm my heart and make me feel all the good feelings, but none do it quite like Love and Gelato. This is like, if you need a happy romance, boom. I mean, it also has some serious topics as well, like trying to find a lost family and some lies and deception, but it's kind of all held up by this cute Italian romance between these two teenagers. We follow 16-year-old Lena. She goes to Tuscany to like stay with her dad that she doesn't really know, and she meets Ren, who's Italian, and they just like trot around Italy together, and it is so cute. And I think if you're like sitting in your rainy January home, did that make sense? You know what I mean. And you want to kind of escape. Love and Gelato, it's so cute. I know that there's two more after this, Love and Luck and Love and Olives. I don't know, I just loved this one so much that I don't want to like spoil it by reading the other two, because I think the second one isn't as good. But you can continue on if you want to after you finish this one. So cute. 5 out of 5. Loved it. Such a cute romance. Just had a coughing fit. It's not COVID either. So I can't even be that dramatic about it, but oh my god. Because these are about teenagers, it's not that steamy. Because sometimes I'm like, I read a romance and I'm like, that was like too steamy, not what I was expecting. Like I read my first Tessa Bailey book like last week, and I was like, holy crap. So this one is more PG rated, which I think is nice sometimes. The last 3 books I have here are truly the definition of like feel-good novels. I've been so into reading books about like everyday lives, like how people and neighbors are connected and the lives that they lead, because I think it just helps you open your eyes and be like, wow, people around me are really going through it, and there's sad moments and there's happy moments, and I think 2 of these books really exemplify that. So they're also both from Book of the Month. First one's The People We Keep by Allison Larkin. I think this one has a little bit of chat around it, but I still haven't heard enough. This is set in New York. We follow 16-year-old April, and she has like no support from her family. She drops out of school and she wants to be a musician. And so she kind of travels around the upper northeast, I guess, United States, and we see her try and figure out life. And the people that she meets along the way are just helping to build her into who she wants to be. Some are better than others. There's some love interests, but I think it just felt so real. Like I think everyone is able to connect to a person like April, who is just trying to find their way and gets help with some of their friends and makes mistakes. And like I wish that I had this book when I was 16, because I just think it doesn't shy away from showing the hard parts of growing up, but at the end of the book, like you're left with like, you just feel like you got a big hug. Like it's such a good novel. And the cover is absolutely stunning. I love this book so much. It was in my top 10 of the year. Such a good book. And then A Little Hope by Ethan Joella. This one just recently came out, I think, in Connecticut, and we're following a lot of different walks of life in this small town, and there's a lot of grief, there's a lot of bad things that are happening to these characters, and you see like how all of their lives connect, which I love that. Trigger warning, there's a lot of talk about cancer in this book, which can be really depressing, but again, after I finished this book, there was just like a little hope at the end, and it's just like, oh, humanity can be good sometimes. And I think this is like the dynamic duo, y'all. I have faith in humanity after reading these two books. They're so cute. Last book I have to talk about is probably no surprise. I was gonna talk about The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, but I feel like that's like so overdone, and like, you know, new information's come out where like it's not the best. He like stole ideas from Indigenous kids in Canada, so I don't know if I want to talk about the book right now. But I did just read Under the Whispering Door by the same author, and I thought I would mention it because it is really freaking cute. Made its way to my top 10 of the year. So we follow, I don't know if I can finish this video, my throat hurts so bad. Okay, we follow Wallace. He is a lawyer. He is not happy in his life, he's grumpy. He has a heart attack, he dies. He is met by, we found her. May comes to collect him and bring him back to this little tea place, this little tea house, to meet like the Reaper or whatever. So we just see him open up about his life and like the mistakes that he made. Of course, there's a lot of talk about death. This one does have lower ratings than his other book, but I think because it's just dealing with darker stuff, like it's not all cutesy all the time. But there are just so many little details that are included in this book that just like help connect everything together, and I think it was so thoughtfully done. And I think death is something that's so hard to like talk about and write about, and I think that this was like perfectly done. It is so incredible. I know it just came out, so pick it up. It was a little bit slow in the beginning, honestly, to get into, but once you get going, you really get going. And I just want to like hug all of these books. They're just a giant hug. I know you probably need it. 2021 was rough. January is always the most depressing month for me, so if I can offer some cute reads, some cute fluffy, not always fluffy, but like genuine reads, then that's what I'm gonna do for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you got some ideas for a book to pick up if you're feeling a little low, if you're like in a reading slump. I think any of these would be really good too. Just kind of like sit there and take a deep breath and just let it out and just realize you're okay, and it's a new year, new start, and we're in this together. So I am done filming for the day. I thought I was gonna be able to film some videos, but my voice says otherwise. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.